Hi everyone and welcome back to Oodalali Disney Crafts and Fun. My name is Lindsay and in today's video I was tagged by Amber Crawley from the Most Magical 5. I was tagged in the Favorite Things Fall tag, which was created by Lydia over at Vintage Nectarines, and per usual I will go ahead and link both of their channels below so you can go ahead and check out their tags. It's just 10 questions and they're all fall related. Fall is my favorite season out of the 4. And if I could choose, if I had the power to make fall 365 days out of the year, I definitely would. Me living in California, we don't really experience very many seasons, at least in my opinion. Fall is my favorite time of year, and I feel that once fall hits, which I'm filming this video on September the 26th, it just doesn't feel like fall yet to me because we're still getting heat waves and 80-degree weather, and the nights are getting a little cooler, which is great. But I would prefer if the days match the nights, you know, and just, we see a little bit of the changing of the leaves here in Southern California, but nothing like in Washington. I went to school in Washington, and granted it rained pretty much all the time, but it was beautiful. I don't know, there's something about rain and being cozy, and I just associate it a lot with fall too. But anyways, I really love fall. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I just love the sense, the cozy feeling, just snuggling up under a blanket, everything that comes with being a fan of fall. So to start off, I chose this mug today because I mentioned in my last video that this was the mug that I always gravitate towards anytime I'm anytime I want a coffee or a tea. And it's just a really great mug. I've had it for a little bit, and Amber also has the same mug, funny enough. And on the back, so it has Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and then on the back it says the fairest of them all. And the coffee that I'm drinking today is the coffee that I drink pretty much every day, and it's from Trader Joe's, and it's the Colombian instant coffee. I don't really know how to make coffee, truth be told. I'm not very good at it. But the instant blend, I'm all for it, because you just boil water, add it to your cup, and it just tastes so good. And of course I add creamer, a lot of creamer to my coffee. I bought this sign years ago, I think it was last year actually, at Hobby Lobby, that says, "I love creamer more than I love coffee." That is definitely me. I love creamer with a little bit of coffee, which I don't even know if you could call that coffee at that point. But anyways, that's what I'm drinking today, and it is really good. So let's go ahead and get into this tag. So again, like always, I just have them printed out. And the first question is treats and drinks. So this kind of goes back to when I was in college. I went to school in Washington, so there were Starbucks aplenty everywhere. But on University Ave, there was this Starbucks, and I don't know what it was. Every single day I would get a tall caramel macchiato with a pumpkin loaf. And granted, it's not a pumpkin spice latte, which we'll get to that in a second. It's not a pumpkin spice latte, but caramel macchiatos and pumpkin loaves, I love it because it just reminds me of fall, and it reminds me of my time when I was in Washington and I started in the fall, and it just brings back so many memories. So it was just something that I always did and enjoyed, and I started it in the fall, and it just kind of stayed with me till now. And it's just something that I associate. In terms of pumpkin spice lattes, I love the scent of pumpkin spice. I love the idea of pumpkin spice. But in terms of actual lattes, it is so very rare that I actually buy pumpkin spice lattes. It's not because I don't like them. I do like them, but I feel that I'm very picky in terms of who makes them, and just because sometimes they can taste very, very artificial, and I don't like that. Like if I want something that's pumpkin, I want it to taste like pumpkin. I'm not a fan of pumpkin spice lattes. So in terms of drinks and treats, I love pumpkin loaves and caramel macchiatos. All right, scents. So pretty much your typical scents for fall. I love the cinnamon, I love cardamom, I love chai, I love pumpkin, just not in a drink. And we purchased a 4-pack of candles at Costco recently, And they came with different scents, like a sage scent, a vanilla scent, ocean breeze scent, and then this one, which is chai cardamom. It smells really, really good. First of all, it comes in this beautiful packaging with the gold top. Gold top is embossed. And we have already been burning this, and it smells really good. It's got a nice scent though. It's not an overpowering chai cardamom scent. It's just, it gives your house this very light, cozy feeling. This one I love, and this was just from Costco. It's by the brand Bellevue Luxury Candles. So you get it in a 4-pack at Costco, different scents. But this was more of like the fall autumnal scent. They did have one, I think it was like blackberry sage or blackwood sage, something like that, but it had a very pine Christmas tree sort of scent to it. So I'll be burning that during the winter time. All right, traditions. We don't really have too many. I mean, we have a couple traditions that I have been doing since I was a kid. And one of them is the pumpkin patch, and my fiance and I, we went yesterday to the pumpkin patch. It was such a beautiful, it was a beautiful day. I love pumpkin patches. It's a tradition that I definitely want to be able to carry on once we have kids, but there's just something about it. When I was younger, every fall season, we would go to this one pumpkin patch in Culver City, and it's no longer there, but I had so many fond memories. There were just tons of pumpkins everywhere, hay everywhere, and I still remember the smell. You could smell the hay, you could smell the little marketplace. They had a little marketplace where you could buy pumpkins and sugar cane, and then they also had this little haunted house that they set up, and it was kind of like a barn, and they just had, you do this walkthrough, and it's covered in like black tarp, and you just do a walkthrough, and I was scared to death. I mean, it's just literally stuffed. It was stuffed people and mannequins and stuff, which is probably why I don't like mannequins, but it was just really, it was so fun. And I still remember, I never did like an actual walkthrough because I was so scared, and my mom and dad would walk me through, and my uncle, but I was so scared, I literally just ran right through. I ran right through. I like saw something and then I ran. And then as I got older, I was like, okay, it's not real. So I actually stopped to look at the actual stalls, and it was just really fun. It was a good time. And honestly, the feelings that I have for this time of year pretty much stem from that. And I remember we used to buy our pumpkins from this farm, and we would take all the seeds out, and my mom would roast them in the oven, and we would put salt and pepper and a bunch of different seasonings on it. She would do that on a Saturday morning, and I just remember the smell. I just love it. I love it, and it brings back so many good memories for me and when I was a child. So the pumpkin patch is definitely a tradition for me, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy looking at the pumpkins, going on tractor rides, and there's just something about it, and I can't really put it into words. I know I'm struggling to put it into words, but it's just a feeling that you get, and it's just brings me back to childhood. Movies and books. Okay, so I have some books that I have read, and these go back to when I was a kid, and then there are other books that are on my TBR list, which seems to be growing and growing and growing, and not enough time to read because I do enjoy reading. I just wish I had more time to sit down with a book and actually read it. But I'm getting there. You know, I'm trying to get better at making time for it, because I feel like at the end of the day, it's all about making time for something. So when I can, I definitely squeeze in some time for reading. 3 of them here, actually 4 of them here, are childhood books. The first one is a classic. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And this is, these are all vintage books. I just love them. The illustrations are really pretty. And this is from 1967. So this is just something that I read, watched as a kid. My mom and my uncle are huge Peanuts fans, so this was something that we did every single year. We watched this. Another one, oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys remember if you had this in your schools, but the Scholastic book fairs where you got those book order forms and you selected the books and little accessories that you wanted. This was one of the books that I had my mom buy me, and this is called The Pilgrim's First Thanksgiving. This is how the book looks throughout. It's just kind of like this watercolor pen illustration, and it's in the same kind of blue coloring on all of the pictures. But I just loved this story as a kid. And then again, going along with Peanuts, A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. So this one's more in the style of a comic book, but still, I love it. Charlie Brown, the whole Peanuts and Charlie Brown, I always think of the holidays, especially during Christmas time with the Charlie Brown Christmas, but especially Thanksgiving and Halloween, just some of my favorite characters. This book, this book is a classic. I think I bought like 5 copies of this book just so I could always have it. And also have 1 copy to utilize in my junk journaling and scrapbooking. But this is a glow-in-the-dark book, and I loved this book as a kid. So this is a very scary jack-o'-lantern, and it's such a cute small book, but I loved the pictures in this book. I mean, if we want to talk about cozy, this book is so cozy. It's everything that I feel about Halloween and this time of year, and it's just spooky. And there's this one picture that there's little raised parts of the book that actually glow in the dark, but there's this one picture in here that really scared me. Okay, so this was one of them, and you can see this huge spider coming down, but this picture, I don't know, you guys ready? I mean, she scared me so much when I was a kid. I hated this picture. I would always like, okay, I'm gonna go to the next page because I just never liked looking at her. But it's weird because now I love anything witches. So who knows? But yeah, I just really love this book. It's such a sweet book. It's about a grandpa and his grandson, and just the adventure that they go on, and it's just really sweet. Another book, it's not fall per se, but I always associate it with the fall because when I read it, it was in the fall, and when I first watched the movie, it was in the fall. But it's The Scarlet Pimpernel by Baroness Orsi. I think that's how you say it. And this book I actually had purchased at a book fair. And I love it. I just love books that look like this. It doesn't have a copyright date or anything like that, but The Scarlet Pimpernel, like I said, it's not a fall book per se, but it's just, I think, something that I always associate with the fall just because of when I read it. And it's about the French Revolution, which is probably my most favorite period in all of history. I know it's a gory, definitely a gory period, but it was fascinating to me, and so this book I love. And the movie version that I saw was the 1982 version with Jane Seymour and Anthony, I forget his name, but really good movie if you can find it. That was a movie that in history class in high school, we watched that, and I just fell in love with it. And I remember the first time we watched the movie, my friend in high school, she would always bring out it was the Bath & Body Works Sweet Cinnamon Pumpkin scent. Oh my gosh. And I fell in love with that scent from that moment. So I think that's also why I tied this movie in with fall, because it was during that time. This one I picked up recently from a used bookstore. It's The Widow's Broom. And the illustrations in here are absolute, look at this. I mean, stunning. It is a children's book. I just can't wait to read this. I haven't read it yet, but the pictures in here are so beautiful. They're really pretty, and it's all in that sepia tone coloring. Just a synopsis of this book. Some of Mina Shaw's neighbors don't trust her clever broom. It's dangerous, they say. It's a wicked, wicked thing. Mina disagrees. She appreciates the broom's help around the house. She enjoys its quiet company. It seems perfectly innocent and hardworking to her. But one day, 2 children get a well-deserved thrashing from the broom. For her neighbors, this is proof of the broom's evil spirit. Mina is obliged to give up her dear companion. Chris Van Allsburg, master of the mysterious, brings this supernatural tale to life with moody and memorable pictures that will haunt readers long after the book's covers are closed. So, can't wait to read that. But this is something that I definitely want to display just because the pictures are so incredibly beautiful. These two are on my TBR list, and I believe this is a series. I think there's a third book to it, but this is The Witch's Daughter, because for Halloween time and around this time of year, I really love anything witches. I love the paranormal, I love cemeteries. I just love all of that, but this is a story that I had come across, and I can't remember where I saw it, but I think it was on Amazon. It was like a suggested read, The Witch's Daughter, and then the sequel to that, which is The Return of the Witch. So, for the first book, so it says, an enthralling tale of modern witch, Bess Hawksmith, a fiercely independent woman desperate to escape her cursed history, who must confront the evil that has haunted her for centuries. So I cannot wait to read this. It says, my name is Elizabeth Ann Hawksmith, and my age is 384 years. If you will listen, I will tell you a tale of witches, a tale of magic and love and loss, a story of how simple ignorance breeds fear and how deadly that fear can be. Let me tell you what it means to be a witch. Love it. So can't wait to read that. Then in terms of movies, I have a pretty long list, movies and TV shows. I actually had to write them down just so I could keep track of everything. It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. The Disney version of Legend of Sleepy Hollow with Ichabod Crane and Katrina. It's kind of like an underrated little short film, but I love it, and it just, again, embodies all of the feelings that I get when it comes to thinking about fall and Halloween time. Anything with Meg Ryan, she just exudes fall to me, like full autumnal vibes. So you've got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle, When Harry Met Sally. I love Meg Ryan. She's just so cute, and I love the way that she portrayed her characters, and she just has this like coziness to her. I love her as an actress. Nightmare Before Christmas is a classic, along with Hocus Pocus. Love those two movies. Nightmare Before Christmas I associate more with Halloween time than I do for Christmas time, but I do enjoy it both times of the year. So I have a couple films that are older, from like 1940s, 1950s. All That Heaven Allows is a 1955 film with Rock Hudson. And if you guys can find that on Amazon or wherever you can find that movie, that DVD, I highly encourage you to watch it. It is so sweet. It's about a widow who falls for a younger man, and the time of year is during the autumn time, and it leads into Christmas time. But it's such a beautiful, sweet film, so I don't want to give too much away, but definitely recommend that one. 1952, Joan Crawford's Sudden Fear is kind of a more suspenseful, scary film. It's about a successful woman who marries basically a psycho, and kind of her journey of how she tries to get away from him. So it's very suspenseful. The 1957 film, An Affair to Remember, with Deborah Carr and Cary Grant, classic. I mean, that is such a beautiful film. It goes hand in hand with Sleepless in Seattle, because Sleepless in Seattle is kind of based off of the Love Affair to Remember movie, but I just love it, and it just gives me, again, all the fall vibes. And then, let's see, Gilmore Girls TV show. Great. It just, Stars Hollow is fall to me. I mean, if I could live in Stars Hollow, please, I would love to just plot myself in that neighborhood. Oh, and another one, Sense and Sensibility with Kate Winslet and Emma Thompson. It's a Jane Austen book, but it was turned into a movie. Really beautiful movie. It just, again, reminds me of fall. So I think you can kind of get a sense that some of these things are not fall per se, but kind of, for me anyways, it gives me those vibes. Something everyone likes and you don't. Well, it kind of depends on who everyone is, because everybody has different tastes, but for me anyways, I'm not a huge fan of pumpkin spice lattes. I will drink them, but I'm not a huge fan of them. And candy corn. I don't like candy corn. I don't like, there's no flavor to them. It's just like this waxy, I don't know. I just don't like them. I think they're really cute though. I love to have them out. I like to look at them. I like to draw them. But in terms of ingesting them, not my cup of tea. Team Halloween or Team Thanksgiving? That's hard. I don't know. I feel like I'm right in the middle because I don't know if I could pick a side, because I love them both for different reasons. So Halloween, I really enjoy the spookiness, the cemeteries, the paranormal, the witches, just the whole vibe of Halloween. I don't like gory things. So chainsaw massacre things, not my cup of tea. I don't like to see blood everywhere. That's not what I love about Halloween, or like dismembered bodies. I don't like that. But Halloween, in terms of like the Halloween that I knew growing up, like the scary sounds and the decor, just like the PG decor, I'm good with. Thanksgiving I love because I love being around family. I love the food. I love eating. I love food. I love food. And I love being in the kitchen with family and making food. And I remember this one Thanksgiving when I was a kid, and my mom is usually the one who always made Thanksgiving, always. And she had injured her wrist somehow, and she came to me and she's like, Lindsay, you have to make Thanksgiving because I can't cook. Like, I can't lift things. I can't move my wrist. It hurts. And I'm like, Mom, I've never cooked a turkey in my life. Like, and she's like, I'll walk you through it. It'll be a piece of cake. I'll walk you through it. So I got up really early and I was in the kitchen all day long making Thanksgiving dinner. And my brothers would come and help me as much as they could. But that Thanksgiving was so incredibly special because I made the whole entire meal pretty much by myself. And it turned out really well. I was really proud of myself. But that was a Thanksgiving I will never forget. But anyways, Team Thanksgiving or Team Halloween, I cannot choose. I love them both for different reasons. All right, new fall item. So I have two fall items. If you've been watching my videos, I think you know that I have a slight obsession with mugs. Just a slight one. So I had purchased a cauldron, which again, I love anything witches. So I purchased this really cute cauldron. And then I got this one. So this one's from Target. And then this one is from Hobby Lobby. And it is just this ginormous pumpkin. And it gives me Cinderella vibes. Like her pumpkin carriage, it gives me a lot of those vibes. But I love them. And you can see just the size of them. Like tiny and a little bit more of a jumbo size. But I love them and they're my new fall items. Decorations. Okay, well, I have a few because I love to decorate for fall and Halloween. I feel like as I've gotten older, my color palette has changed a little bit. I'm not afraid to add a little bit of color into my fall decor, but I do like the more subdued, almost like folk art looking Halloween items. So this one I got at TJ Maxx and it's by Candy Corn Lane. And I just love how they look a little homemade. It's a garland. And so this little guy I had gotten last year, but I just adore him. I got this one at Target, I believe. No, I got this at Michael's. So he has a flat bottom and his legs are just made out of these little beads and they just kind of float. And then his little arms are the little pipe cleaners, and you can just kind of form them however you want. You can have him say hi. I just think he's the cutest. So this kind of whimsical looking Halloween decor, I really have been enjoying. And then this little guy, Amber has the same one. I got him three years ago at Target from their Hide and Eek collection, I think it was. but she named him the Little Pumpkin Man. I don't have a name for this guy yet, but isn't he adorable? I just love how, I don't know, it looks like something that I would have had as a child. I love these kind of things. But he is stuffed and squishy and has like beans at the bottom to make him a little bit more weighted. But I love him. And then I love to knit, but I haven't quite honestly been knitting for a while now, but this is an excuse for me to go through my yarn stash, which all of these bins here are yarn, believe it or not. There was a pattern that I did last year, and it's from Deborah from Candy Shop Yarns, and she created this pattern, and I think it's like the sugar pumpkin pattern. I'll find the name of it and put it right here. But I love this pattern, and it's a pattern that I adapted into. I made a snowman with it during Christmas time, but it's her pumpkin pattern, and you can make different sizes. You can make a larger one, a medium size, and a little baby one. And what got me started on actually finding this pattern, my mother-in-law, Twee, made me this, and it's so, she also knits as well, but it's so beautiful, and it has a little cinnamon stick at the top. She tied some twine on it, and I just fell in love with it. I'm like, I want to learn how to make this. So Deborah had posted that she had created this pattern. I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. So these are the pumpkins. So as you can see, I used some more colorful, more autumnal colored yarn. So not your typical orange and black, which I like. And then I also did like a pinkish one too, with pretty speckles. So I absolutely love those. So those are probably my favorite items to take out every fall. I just adore them. They're so sweet. And then also, and I just added some velvet ribbon to the top, and then I took just a green leaf that I had, and I put some gold on it, and I just kind of spruced it up a little bit. But I just love them. So sweet. Favorite memory. So this one's a funny memory, but it ended up being a favorite memory for me in an odd way. I remember my mom was always getting us into juicing, and she would make us, because, being a mom, she wanted to make sure our immune systems were strong and we were healthy growing up. So she would always give us juices like carrots and broccoli and all that stuff. And I hated it. Like as a kid, I enjoy it now. Like I'll drink it now without any sort of hesitancy. But as a kid, I hated these drinks. And then when you get to the bottom and it's all foamy and no, it wasn't my favorite. So my brother and I would be sitting there and we'd be like, just kind of messing around, and we would spill, or I would spill my drink, and it would go everywhere, and I'm like, let's go ahead and hide this before mom comes. And then my mom would come back into the room, she's like, you drank that way too fast. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I drank it. Look, I'm done. It's empty. She's like, no, you spilled it. And moms, you can't lie to your mom. She knows. They know. You can't lie to them. So, and for me, I've always been such a horrible liar. And so I turned bright red, and she's like, I'm gonna make you another one. And so she made me another one, put a tablespoon of horseradish in it. This was my punishment, okay, guys? Put a tablespoon of horseradish in it, and I had to drink it. Oh, and by the way, she turned off all the lights. She turned off all the lights, and then would play this CD, Scary Sounds of Halloween. This CD here. So it's so funny though, because she has the original CD, and as weird as it sounds, that was my favorite memory, because this particular CD, it says, haunt your house with this compact disc featuring clinks, clanks, rattling, chains, howling witches, screaming victims, and more. So yeah, no wonder my nerves are shot. But yeah, she used to always play this anytime that we spilled. And as weird as it sounds, I know it became a favorite memory. So I had to go on a hunt to find this and add this to my own collection. So now during this time of year, I do play this CD. But you know, looking back, I know some people would be like, that's terrible. But if you really think about it, she was doing us a service. You know, she was making our immune systems get stronger. And I hate horseradish to this day. There is no making me eat horseradish. Hate it. Will never, I don't even want it on the table next to me. I hate horseradish. But drinking fruits and vegetables, I love it. So thanks, Mom. So this is a favorite memory. All right, guys, so that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I tag anybody who wants to participate in this tag. It is so fun to do. I love this time of year, and I cannot wait for the weather to get cooler here. I pray. I am wearing my plaid fall shirt because I am willing it to be fall. Come on, fall. I mean, summer, you've had your time, but please go away. I don't want you anymore. I'm tired of the heat waves. And until next time, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.